The Chiefs beat the Bills 32-29. Mahomes gets it done yet again. His 5th Super Bowl appearance in 7 years as a starter. Unreal start to his career. Mahomes was phenomenal. 18 of 26, 245, and a touchdown. Also added 43 yards and 2 touchdowns on the ground. Kareem Hunt scored the first touchdown, of course, because everyone wants to talk about Isaiah Pacheco. Well, Kareem Hunt had 17 for 64 in the touchdown. Pacheco, only 5 carries for 12 yards, Reagan. He does not look the same since he came back from injury.
Yeah, no, he does not. But Kareem Hunt, he looked good. He looked
solid, dude. I don't think it matters if Pacheco's there or not. You know what I mean? Like,
also, it's kind of funny, and it's, a little side note, but on the broadcast, and I kind of forgot, Mahomes and Hunt came in at the same time, and it's crazy to think about that, but they were both rookies the same year.
Oh, I didn't even realize that.
And Kareem Hunt broke out his rookie year with Alex Smith on that Monday night game, or that Sunday, whatever it was. No, it was a Thursday night football opening night, and he had that breakout performance against the Patriots, and Alex Smith was the quarterback. So that's why you kind of forget they're the same draft class, because Mahomes, only played one game his rookie year. But they said that on the broadcast, and I was like, damn, I feel like a lot of people don't realize that. But also, Kareem Hunt is 29. He's been around for a while, and, had his kicking incident. But yeah, I mean, fucking dude, Pacheco only getting 5 carries here. He just doesn't look healthy. It'll be interesting next offseason to see. I know he is an older back in the sense that he's 25, like still young for an NFL standards, but obviously came into the draft a little bit older. So this offseason will be very telling. But it did seem like he pushed his timeline to come back sooner than he was supposed to, and I didn't really understand it, because I was like, look, this team's really in control to get the 1 seed. Like, why would you not just sit him out until he is 100%? And, clearly it's having some after effects.
He lost his job to Hunt, who was struggling to find a roster spot this year. You know what I mean? Like, and he did not look very good last year. So,
yeah. And I would imagine, because I know Kareem Hunt is only on a 1-year deal. I'd imagine whether it's with the Chiefs or somebody else, like somebody's going to give him, a nice contract this season. I would think he's played well enough to get an opportunity to at least be the backup on a team for, a multi-year deal.
Yeah. Receiving wise, Xavier Worthy, leading receiver yet again for this Chiefs team, 6 for 85 and a touchdown. And he said, hey, that's what they get for passing on me in the draft, talking about the Bills. A little interesting there. It happened on draft night. Everyone's like, how do you let the Chiefs get this guy? And hey, for the first half of the season, he was kind of used more of a gadget player, but he's really developed nicely for Patrick Mahomes in this offense.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. Isn't that funny that, he was the leading receiver and, a major factor in the reason why Buffalo lost this game. I mean, 6 for 85 and 1, and you gave the Chiefs this guy. You have nobody else to blame for them getting this guy.
And Keon Coleman had 1 catch for 12 yards on the flip side of that coin.
Yes. So that's got to sting for Buffalo. We didn't talk about that earlier, but that hurts, man. That hurts, because
absolutely
you gave them the guy at the end of the day. You gave them the ability to trade up. I'm not saying Buffalo had to take Worthy, but you may have sat there and somebody else may have come up and taken Worthy, or you allowed it to happen. So nobody else to blame but yourselves.
Juju had 2 for 60 yards. Hey, Juju making some plays. Hollywood 3 for 35. Kelsey non-existent here, 2 for 19, but it didn't matter, dude. D-Hop 1 for 11. Like, Mahomes just spreading the ball around here outside of Worthy. And really, Juju had 2 catches, but 60 yards there.
2 big catches, yeah. 230.
2 big catches.
30-yarders.
For the Bills, Josh Allen, he played a great game. He did fumble the ball 3 times, but they recovered all 3. So there's that. But he had 237 passing yards, 2 touchdowns. Not as dominant in the ground, had 11 for 39. James Cook was great, though, 13 for 85, 2 touchdowns. He's a touchdown machine. I don't think there's any way he scores as many touchdowns next year as he did this year, because I think they're going to have some more help. And usually you regress a little bit in the touchdowns, but dude was a touchdown machine this year. Leading receiver for the Bills, of course, Matt Collins, 3 for 73 and a touchdown. Pretty spread out outside of that. Cook had 49, Shakir 46, Cooper 33, but, Kincaid struggled, 2 for 13. Obviously, that drop at the end, he's catching a lot of heat right now. Would have been an unreal play out of Josh Allen and both Kincaid. That's not an easy play to make, but, tough one for the Bills, man. Honestly, I feel for Bills fans here.
Yeah, if you're blaming Kincaid, I mean, it's not like Mark Andrews, who's fumbles and then drops a very catchable 2-point conversion. And I know it's not, Josh Allen gave him a chance. I mean, there was not much you could do there when they bring an all-out blitz. So he did give him the opportunity, but it's not like that's a ball that should. I mean, I guess you got at the end of the day, I guess it's just like Buffalo's had so many opportunities.
Tough play,
like,
you gotta make
go
it
and get it.
And that's what we talked about earlier. Reagan's like, what do the Bills need to do to get over the hump? It's like, just start making the plays in the clutch, man. It's not. I don't even think it's like personnel. Like you could of course upgrade your roster, but it's like at some point, man, you got to make the fucking plays if you want to be the champ. If you want to beat the champ, you know what I mean? Like that's a play that you got to make. It's not an easy one, but if you want to be playing on February 9th, that's a play that's got to be made.
Yo, fire me up, bro. Fire me up, bro.
It's like, bro, all these people can cry about the fucking refs. It's like, you have opportunities. Make the plays. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, you could say a ref screwed us in this play, that play, and they might seem very significant in the grand scheme of things, but you got to execute when it matters most, and you didn't do that. And I feel for Bills fans, but at the end of the day, that's just what it is.
Yo, mic drop. Drop that shit.
Mic drop, dude. I wish
Gronk spiked that shit right now. That was awesome.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I mean, cooked obviously, but I don't know. Like you said, I mean, eventually, you can't keep being like making excuses. Like, and you look on the flip side, it's third down, and Buffalo needs to stop to make the Chiefs either go for it on fourth down, and Patrick Mahomes flips it out. Tough ball to catch. Piron makes the catch, cuts it upfield, gets the first down. Game over.
Yeah.
So, and I wouldn't say Samaje Piron's like a star player for the Chiefs, but it's just guys stepping up, making plays when you need them to. And it's something the Chiefs have had throughout their careers. And maybe that just speaks to the volume to their coaching staff. But, a lot of guys that aren't the biggest names stepping up in big moments. I mean, you even look on the defensive side of the ball, some of their top tacklers. I mean, they bring over Drew Tranquil. He has a big impact in this game. They bring over Nick Bolton. He has a big impact in this game. So it's a lot of different guys that they have brought in or drafted that have had big impacts on this team. So they just continue to draft well. Spagnuolo continues to develop, and it almost seems like every year they have turnover on the defensive side of the ball, and they draft someone new or they sign someone new in free agency, and they slide right in.
Yeah, and it's also the Chiefs, like, they get it done in every facet of the game. Like Nico Remigio with the 41-yard punt return. You know what I mean? Like, they are just so well coached. They just get it done in every facet. And, I mean, everyone's praising Spagnuolo, too, with what he did. I know that the Bills scored 29 points, but, Spags has a chance to get his 5th ring here. I mean, that'd be pretty – no, I'm sorry, his 4th ring.
No, his
5th ring. Yeah, it's his 5th ring. It'd be his 5th ring.
Yeah, and I'm not trying to, change the subject, but, the Bills had 1 kick return and 1 punt return, and you look at the Chiefs, and, they had 4 kick returns and 1 punt return, and the punt was for 41, and they had 1 kick return for 33 yards, and the guy was averaging, Raminio, it was averaging 26.8, on a return. So, that's a big aspect as well, the return game. And, Tyler Bass, I talked about, how he struggled so much, and, he was a big impact last year where, he missed a big kick. And then in this one, he makes the 53-yarder, but bro, put it in the back of the end zone. Don't give him the opportunity. And so, that's another thing. The Chiefs won on all facets. And I believe they won no, they actually lost the turnover game.
I think Mahomes the Chiefs lost had a fumble. Yeah. The Bills
that was it.
Fumbled.
It was 1-0.
Yeah, the Bills fumbled 4 times.
Yeah, I would imagine.
But they didn't lose any.
Yeah, I would imagine that'll change next year. I know the Bills had like one of the best historic seasons. I believe they won the turnover battle in every single game this year, if I'm not mistaken. So,
I believe it. Allen didn't turn it over. He didn't get sacked, so they really didn't fumble much.
Yeah, so and that sucks, man. Being a Bills fan and knowing that stat, and it's like, look, that's not something you can repeat. So it's going to be an uphill battle next year because Allen really had to be a Superman in it. I hope he wins the MVP this year. If he doesn't, I would say he's kind of a lock next year to get it after this season, how he played. I would definitely feel pretty confident in saying he wins next year if he doesn't get it this year.
Yeah, especially if they add some more weapons, which I think they're going to do.
Yeah, at least in the draft. I mean, this seems like there's, some decent wide receivers you can get in the back end of the first. So like to see him do it. I mean, the running backs, you got a nice little core there, the nice 1-2-3 punch and Davis, Johnson, and Cook. So, and the tight ends, I mean, Kincaid, bro, he's got to step up bigger. I would have thought he would have had a bigger impact. I mean, they spent a first-round pick on him, and he really hasn't lived up to the hype.
No, he hasn't. He had 2 touchdowns this season. That's pretty disappointing because Dawson Knox has scored a lot of touchdowns in this offense, and Kincaid is certainly a better route runner and receiver out of that tight end position than Knox is. You need him to step up into that role next season. Like he was a very popular fantasy pick before the season, going as tight end 4, tight end 5, and just was just not even close to that. So, they do have some young guys in place that, hey, they can take those strides next year and develop into those premier players that Josh Allen needs around him, so he doesn't have to be Superman all the time. But my biggest question is, at what point does just not getting to the Super Bowl and falling short to the same team over and over again just start to drive these guys insane? Like similar like Diggs, it's like that's probably a big reason why Diggs is now out of town, is the way that he dealt with those losses in the postseason.
Yeah. And I mean, I was talking with my dad and he was like, yeah, you think if they have Diggs, they win that game? I don't know. I don't think so. Cause I feel like Shakir kind of, slid right into that Diggs role very well. I mean, I know he wasn't like the same level, but I feel like the drop off wasn't that far. I mean, I feel like Shakir had a very, very good season. I mean, he was 76 for 821 and 4. So the yardage wasn't there, but towards the end of the season, he really came along. So I like him long term. He just can't be your number 1 is the issue.
No, yeah, he's a nice number 2, but I think they need an alpha. And I know they just had one with Diggs, but clearly the relationship wasn't there anymore between him and Allen and the coaching staff. You need a new guy, a new number 1 for Josh Allen. I mean, clearly it's going to be difficult given their salary cap restraints to bring in. Like, you're not going to be able to sign T. Higgins, I don't think, unless they work some cap magic. And this isn't a dominant wide receiver class, but hey, maybe Emeka Egbuka falls to you, or I don't think Egbuka will, honestly, but maybe you move up a little bit. You get an Egbuka or a Luther Burden. You know what I mean? That could make a big impact on this offense.
Yeah, I mean, after all, why do you keep they've traded back in a couple drafts now. They definitely got some picks. They could move up. I wouldn't hate it at all to go up and get, one of these premier wide receivers. And you never know how the draft will shake out. It seems like every year there's usually a wide receiver that falls, and maybe Buffalo could capitalize on that. I mean, I look back, like CeeDee Lamb fell pretty far, or farther than expected, and the Cowboys pounced on it.
17 he was, I believe.
Yeah, so you never know. I mean, somebody might fall to, get into the high teens, and Buffalo could trade up and pounce on it.
Absolutely. That wraps up the pod today, Reagan. Touched on both games.